Dear all, a very warm welcome to the second edition of Realty Plus Indian Digital Excellence Awards Virtual Conclave 2023. I'm Sapna Srivastava, editor of Realty Plus, your host for the day, and let's begin with the auspicious Ganesh Mantra.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
On that positive note, we also express our sincere appreciation to our partners of this event, business media partner, BW Business World Group, online media partner, Exchange for Media Group, and the event is organized by Team Realty Plus. So without further ado, let's begin the conclave with a brief introduction of Realty Plus.
Some people are born to show the world which path to choose in a crisis. Some brands are born to do the same. And during the times of challenge, the stalwarts of Indian real estate industry have chosen to do just that by showing others the way to finding opportunities even amidst a crisis. By showing the world how to go about delivering on promises even amidst adversity. Success doesn't just happen. It happens by design, by pushing the boundaries, by raising the bar. It's days of creating a vision and nights of bringing it to life. Knowing that pictures are worth 1,000 words and every word makes a difference. It's doing the research, trusting your instinct and finishing what you started. For the past 19 years, Realty Plus has been turning obstacles into opportunities. Keeping the industry informed on the latest developments. Innovating to inspire debate and discussion. Bringing forth the perspectives of industry leaders. Honoring hard work and achievement. Keeping the industry connected. This is what we are built on. This is what we are building. We are Realty Plus, and we lead the way.
So this was a brief snippet of what Realty Plus does and what are our latest initiatives. To know us better, do get in touch with Tripti, Kedia, publisher and business head Realty Plus. And before we start with the proceedings of the day, let me also inform you all that the event is being live streamed on the Realty Plus website, www.rprealtyplus.com, and on the Realty Plus LinkedIn and Realty Plus Facebook pages. I also take this opportunity to share with you all that we have received an overwhelming response to the Realty Plus Idea Awards 2023, and on popular demand, the awards nominations final deadline has now been extended till June 6th. So there is still some more time for all of you out there to rush in your entries. Do not miss. June 6th is the extended deadline for awards nominations, and the Realty Plus Idea Awards will be held on June 15th on the virtual platform. And now, coming back to today's program, let me give you an overview of the aim of today's conclave and the topics that we will be discussing. Friends, we all agree that sales and revenue generation are the life wire of any business. And in the last 2-3 years, Indian real estate has rapidly adopted digital technologies in its sales and marketing to promote brand awareness and to be able to connect with the customers. But for sure, real estate business is not an easy one to run. And the online world has created a completely new market. Digital marketing is becoming a norm rather than an exception. And what has become important for marketers now is to deliver more personalized experiences across multi-channel marketing approach. But what is the right way to grow our business and boost sales digitally is still a question that is asked often. So today's conclave will cover topics from digital marketing, content marketing, and lead generation. And I promise our very eminent experts from the real estate, tech companies, and creative agencies joining with us here today will give us a huge lot of clarity on the latest marketing strategies, content creation, and advanced automation tools. So our first session speakers are all here, and let's begin our first panel discussion of the day on the very popular topic, as I mentioned, digital marketing, and discussing the best ways to measure investment in digital promotion. Let me introduce our session members. The session will be chaired by Nipun Sharma, Senior Director and Chief Marketing Officer, India Salesforce. Nipun Sharma has more than 20 years of experience developing businesses, multi-channel marketing, and delivering revenue-generating initiatives in companies like Adobe, Apple, GE, and Hughes. Introducing our speaker in an alphabetical order, I welcome Mr. Ashish Kaul, Chief Marketing Officer, Hero Realty. He has over 29 years of leadership experience across media and entertainment, arts and culture, FMCG, infrastructure, and project management. He has built brands and businesses based up and played a key role in creating legendary brands like Dish TV, Indian Cricket League, DNA Newspaper, Playwin Lottery, Z News Limited, Hinduja's content and film business, Z Cine Awards, Fun Republic, etc. Ashish has served as Group President of SL Group and Z Network, as CEO of Prakash Jha Films, as Business Head of Hinduja Group's content business, and Business Head and Country Manager of Bajaj Herbals, among many others. Our next eminent panel member, let me introduce Mr. Kartik Sahoo, founder, BrandLand Advertising Private Limited. Mr. Sahoo has over 15 years of experience in sales and marketing, which includes 5 years of entrepreneurial journey. He introduced BrandLand to advertising world with unique concept of brand Mitra. The team with expertise in real estate marketing specializes in real estate project launch marketing and manages more than 120 clients. Kartik has led over 30 real estate brand consulting, 250 plus activations so far, and has pioneered in introducing Brand Expo in BTL marketing. Our next eminent panel member, let me introduce Mr. Mohit Mishra, Head of Marketing, Office Businesses, DLF Limited. Mohit Mishra is an integrated marketing and communication specialist with an experience of more than 20 years handling integrated marketing and brand communication on an array of consumer and business brands with leading advertising and communication agencies in India. His expertise includes digital marketing, brand strategy, branded content creation, strategic business tie-ups, and partnerships. Our next panel member is Mr. Pradeep Vijayadev, Head Digital Marketing Brigade Group. Pradeep Vijayadev is a sales, marketing, and branding professional with experience in industries like real estate, construction, and insurance. He has been in the real estate industry for over 10 years, and at Brigade Group, Pradeep drives all the digital marketing initiatives for the residential business unit. He is an advocate of data-driven marketing with decisive and analytical thinking with an ability to create new sales and marketing programs. Next member of this panel, I introduce Mr. Rajeeb Dash, Head Sales and Marketing, Adani Realty, an experienced marketing and sales professional with FMCG and consumer research background. Mr. Dash has been building brands through innovative marketing and sales approaches. He has been strongly involved in lead generation, sales strategy execution, and product development, including market research across his career. Our final panel member for this session is Mr. Tirthankar Ganguly, Chief Marketing Officer, Kalpataru Limited. Tirthankar is a consummate business leader with more than 19 years of global client-side multifaceted experience across industries and key business functions. He is currently rebooting the marketing mission, driving the digital transformation and MarTech innovation agenda for his real estate company, Kalpataru Limited. So this is our eminent panel for this discussion. Nipun, let me hand it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Sapna, for the warm welcome. And I'm super excited to be here. I can see something on the video which I can't recognize. Okay, hoping everybody can still hear me. I am super excited to be here and looking for some smacking insights here from this great lineup of speakers. Just to set up the context, while there is a global slowdown and we keep hearing about it in the news, India real estate is still holding strong and kicking. Be it our good macroeconomics fundamentals, or be it a good domestic consumption, or the government focus on infrastructure, I think this sector is placed very well. And of course, it is, you can see that because you can clearly see that it's a popular asset class over years which has performed. Now, while these are good tailwinds, there are some headwinds, and these are very unusual headwinds, if you think of it, that now all the consumer nowadays is very well informed, right? So we are now working with a very intelligent buyer, and which puts a lot of pressure on the marketeers, the real estate marketeers, to create breakthrough and differentiated campaigns. Like, how do you really break the clutter? So I want to kickstart this discussion with a confession that I'm a property buff, and that's why I was very excited to be here, in the sense that I love window shopping for houses. And so while I'm driving my car, my eyes should be on the road, but instead they are on the outdoor advertising, checking on new launches, right? And that's why I was so excited to moderate this session, just to understand how do the marketeers really design these campaigns. And with that, I want to pose my first question to Ashish Kaul, who's the Chief Marketing Officer of Hero Realty, a very seasoned marketeer who has built many brands from grounds up. And Ashish, my question to you is, according to you, how matured is real estate marketing in India in terms of processes, tech, and best practices?
Thank you, Nipun. Thank you for with me because of the network issue. I do not have a polite way of answering this question, but I think all of us are matured enough to handle the truth. And the truth that I have seen in my journey, especially with respect to real estate, that marketing is a big sham. Marketing at best, the way we do marketing, I can describe it in one word. It's a tukka, which is camouflaged by fancy words. Best. The keywords are luxurious, and you keep on, adding words to that, and it's become a volume game, sometimes sadly. So I haven't come across people who even know the difference between marketing communications and marketing as a business operations function. It's a volume game. You drive a million leads and possibly then hope that because your inventory levels are so small, you're looking at a very, in terms of standard business operations, in terms of mass market goods, the inventories that we have, if these inventories were SKUs, then it's a minuscule. How many flats do you sell? 200, 300, 500 flats at the most. One go. So if you drive 1 million, to itne to bik hi jayenge. So there is no method. It's a very primitive industry when it comes to marketing, when it comes to articulating. We are still doing it the other way around. The right way of marketing is the best way to market is to create a product that will find a buyer. Here, it is a volume game that you create hype, you use fancy words, and itne log to aa hi jayenge, itna to bik hi jayega. And then there is, the incredible intervention of channel partners. And ultimately, there is still no way of knowing whether it is the sale happening through a channel partner, because ultimately a buyer goes to a platform where he gets better discount. So this is an industry which is devoid of consumer experience. This is an industry which is devoid of marketing. This is an industry driven by hype, driven by fancy tools, those jackets, and overtly glorification of words and more. So those are my initial thoughts that, this industry does not understand the value of marketing. This is confused between using advertising as marketing. That's the best way that I can describe this. Are you able to hear me, Nipun?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. We heard your thought.
One thing that I can add here is the the performance marketing part of it, because we are living in a digital age. It is I have seen there is tremendous reliance on your partner who is handling your performance marketing. It is not the internal teams that handle. Internal teams are clueless even to the. I have known so many of them. I find them absolutely clueless even in terms of being able to. I understand. It's a digital when everybody, I see so many profiles every day, day in and day out. Everybody has suddenly become a digital expert. But the technical part of digital is still very primitive. We're not doing it the right way. And there's no shame in admitting that. When I'm saying we, I'm using we. We includes me also. This is a nascent industry. This is the sad part is we're not accepting that we don't know. And therefore, reliance on these digital intermediaries who sell you anything. As I said, whatever is working today, if you cross your heart and be and hope to be honest, it is simply driving volumes in terms of lead. उस 1,00,000 लीड में से आपके 100 फ्लैट तो बिक ही जाएंगे. आप नहीं बेच पाओगे तो आपका चैनल पार्टनर तो बेच ही देगा. That is not marketing. That is anything but marketing.
Thank you so much. It's just coming to be able to admit this and putting it up so fearlessly. I think I admire that. And I would love to see if anybody else wants to take a dig at this. And I see Rajeeb's hand going up. So Rajeeb, yeah, over to you.
I agree a bit what Ashish was talking about it. But there are a lot of ways that one can do marketing, and it all depends on different segments. So one point that I don't agree with Ashish is that across segment, it's not the same story. And then you may have a story in affordable segment, but when you come to premium segment, depending upon different micro markets, when it becomes very competitive, it's not only selling the numbers, it becomes critical that you get the numbers along with the pricing. So when it becomes pricing story, you have to get a premium in the market, and also you need to get your sales velocity going on. Then the key is marketing. I think that is where one has to see, but it can be the story of different micro markets, because real estate works locally and also micro market driven. So when you have a lot of supply in that market and demand is not as per the supply, and you have to get a pricing, which is premium than your competition or than the market expected, then the marketing becomes the differentiator. And I can tell you that it's not only the differentiator, but also it drives your sales volume through generating more leads. And today we have seen in real estate, it's about digital, where we get 70% of your leads coming through digital medium. So those leads may not be giving you 70% sales, but it may giving you 20-25% sales. For the 70% lead gives you the entire distribution. And when I mean, what I mean by distribution is that when you do a digital, you spend 30% of money, but you generate 70% leads. At the same time, you generate only 30% sales through digital medium. But the reach that it gives you in terms of getting the distribution across the micro market and also beyond the micro market, that is possible because of digital. And today, thanks to digital and real estate, marketing cost has come down. Where when we used to do a lot of ATL activity through newspaper, print ads, and hoardings, today digital has taken over to a maximum extent. And I can see the lead generation process. And today, not only the lead generation that happens through digital, but the lead tracking. I think critical thing is lead tracking, from where it is getting generated and where it's getting ended. Whether it's getting ended with a booking or it's getting ended with a referral sale. He may not be buying, but getting us a referral. So the entire chain is today driven by digital story. And I will say that today marketing is not only critical, but digital marketing is very critical for success story of any brand. And its brand, if you want to make it a premium brand, your equity has to go up, and also you're creating a product which is not universal to a segment that you can play to the entire base. Then digital marketing or placing your product in a better positioning is required, and that is possible through digital marketing.
Got it. I mean, that's again very useful information. Rajeeb, since you head sales and marketing for Adani Realty, and now that I have you, I just wanted to ask you, I know that you're a big advocate of digital marketing, like you just said, 70% of your leads coming from digital. We now understand also that while digital has a lot of pros, but digital is really infringing into the customer's privacy in the sense that the customers are now over communicated. Their mailbox is mostly full. There are spam calls. There is spam text messages. So how do you personalize the marketing messages to the potential buyers, and what is your strategy there? I can hear some echo. Can other people go on mute? Thank you. Rajeeb, you are on mute now. Rajeeb, you have to unmute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
So, Nipun, there are two ways to look the whole thing about how you personalize or customize your offering to the customer in a real estate kind of category. One is that it's critical that how you collect the data. Right? Today, the data is the most important thing, that when you are talking about customizing your offering to the customer or doing a personal offer. The data that you collect at the site, and I'm not talking about the data getting collected through outside media like Facebook display ad or any Google search ad, but I'm talking about purely the people visiting to the site. So today, when you look at the major bucket of the data that we collect is people visiting the site, which we call it, term it as VDNB, so visited but not booked. So that data, when the customer comes to the site, we try to capture qualitative inputs from the customer in terms of their insights about the project and what they're looking for. And once we collect the data from the prospects, and then we try to bucket it into different segments. Like there are a customer who is looking for a school. So they start asking, probing about how many schools are close by, what are the mediums are there. There are customers, those who look for hospitals. There are customers who look for malls. There are different customers for office space close by. When we started getting the insight from the customer who visited the site, we tried to bucket it into 3-4 different buckets. So once I bucket into, like say, school, hospital, retail, mall, office space, then we make 4 or 5 different communication. And then we don't put one generic communication to the entire database that we have. Because our database is a gold mine for us. Because this customer knows about the brand, he visited the site, he knows the project. So we try to customize by offering different communication to different bucket. If the bucket is the family looking for the school, then I will have a communication that we make through the marketing team, which talks about the school, nearby schools, and what are the offerings from the school. If the person is looking for something close to the office space, then we offer what are the infrastructure development which is happening. So there are different communication that gets targeted, and that is purely done through our data that we collect at the site. So that's the customization. Second thing that we're trying to do, and we, to an extent, we have started doing that in terms of data mining, is that the chatbot, which is there in the website. So when you have a chatbot and the people come to the website and start doing the chatting, we figure it out what are the kind of queries they're putting into the chatbot. Are they asking queries related to different configuration? Are they asking queries related to, again, hospital or school or infrastructure story? Then you know where to target this customer. Then we bracket it into different buckets, saying that, okay, this customer is infrastructure story. This customer is a family story. You need to have a family where the amenities, your product amenities becomes critical. Again, then we bucket it and start putting the emailer communication or a chat, WhatsApp communication accordingly as per their requirement. So that is the two ways that we do it currently. The third way that we are starting to do is that data mining process through artificial intelligence. But that's the initial stage that we are trying to mining the data that we have entirely. So where we can do a cross sell or a upgrade to the customer. And that is the data again that we have, because we have a couple of projects in Bombay and different parts of Maharashtra. So that data collection from different sites and we are mining the data to understand whether there's a possibility of doing cross sell, or whether there's a possibility of doing a second home sale, or a possibility of upgrading the customer. So that is done through data mining and trying to understand customer through different ways. And that is where we are doing the personal touch to the customer and customer customization. The last point that I would like to say is that when it becomes a luxury segment, your customer looks some kind of product offering which is customized to the customer requirement. Like if I'm selling a luxury segment, customer expect that it should be a flexi home, that I can build my interiors in a way that I want to do it. So that becomes flexi home, that I can remove this pillar, which is not a load bearing pillar, and I can extend my kitchen or extend my living room. So that becomes customization as an offering from a brand when the customer is looking for a luxury segment or a premium segment, because their requirements are different and they're looking for different offering. The same thing with flexi payment. So I'll say that customization as an offering is flexi home, where you can do flexibility in terms of your interior designing and putting different furniture layout in the apartment. And second thing is the flexi payment plans. Today, people are not looking for the standard payment plan. If you can have a flexibility in terms of building a payment plan, then customer is very happy. And that happens in a premium to luxury segment. We have seen a lot of people ask for flexi payment plan. So if you can work out a flexi payment, that's been very successful. So flexi homes and flexi payment plan. That's
right.
a mantra.
It's good you mentioned about both customization and personalization. Both are very different topics, but how you cover both customization from a product perspective and personalization from a marketing perspective, I think you have it both covered. I think that's a very good insight. And I love the fact that you are building 360 customer view. In fact, we in Salesforce also create a 360 view of our customers, where we know exactly what they need, when they have come, what they have bought, what are their interests, using Salesforce technology. So it's something which is very central and most of the companies are doing now. My question, just a follow-up question, that when you create this customer 360 view, you said you scan the chatbots and you gather a lot of information digitally. Does a lot of information also comes from your offline AE, your sales people on the field, who also provide the information of what this customer wants, and that gets consolidated into creating a customer 360 view? Or is it mostly digital?
Absolutely. It's mostly digital because when we are doing data entry at the site level, that goes through SFDC, the Salesforce package. And when it's captured in SFDC, the data clearly mentions what the configuration they're looking for, price point, any qualitative insight. So once a sales guy does the engagement with the prospect at the site, he fills up the form at the end saying that what is the status of the lead? Is it hot, warm, or cold? And what is the reason for doing that? And what is the consumer insight? So those are clearly picked up through SFDC process that we have. And second thing here is that the channel partner. I think today the channel partner is very critical. And what Ashish was talking about, the channel partner contribution to real estate, depending upon different segments, the channel partner plays a critical role. And they are the biggest influencer in real estate as of now, depending upon micro markets and also the segments. But if I have to think about an influencer in real estate, that's a channel partner. And they give you a lot of data insight about the consumer because they show the customer 3-4 properties and they know that where the customer stands after seeing 3-4 properties. And that's the insight they give you. And that can play a different communication in market. If you know that you are the second, not the first in terms of choice from the customer point of view, then you know what is the strength of the first guy. And then you change your communication to the customer based on that input that you get from channel partner. And that's been very critical.
Right. Thank you, Rajeeb. Thank you for sharing practical experiences. I think one can learn the most from when you hear what somebody is actually implementing. So thank you for that. I want to cover another topic now that I broached upon when we started, which is about the customer being very informed now and being very intelligent. The real estate customer is becoming smarter by the day, as much just how my kid is smarter than what I was at her age, right? So they're much more informed, they're much more hooked on to the technology. So my question is to Kartik Sahoo, who's the CEO and founder of BrandLand Advertising, that how do you what kind of behavior do you see happening in the consumer behavior? How is it changing over the years? And how do we adapt the marketing in a way that we are able to address this change in behavior?
First of all, namaste to all the panels and thank you for the opportunity. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
So when it comes to the behavioral change and in marketing, the two, somehow I'm kind of going back to the Mr. Ashish's discussion. Somehow I'm kind of agreed to his talk. I'll come to that point, but let me answer your things. Like how do we consumer behavior change and all that. Going back to the marketing things, like starting from the ages when marketing communication used to deliver by this. Imagine there is no internet. Just for the sake, all the panels we're talking about digital and all that. Let's imagine there is no digital at all and all that. How do we do even the marketing and all that? I'm just talking first marketing, then we'll come to digital. We'll come to the marketing, which has been the marketing is happening ages and ages and ages. When there was a king and all that, they used to do the drums and roll to communicate what they want to communicate to their prajas and all that, right? And similarly, maybe the pigeon time and all that. Then coming to a time when pigeon delivering the messages to the the receiver and the WhatsApp message today are chatbot servers, Rajeeb servers, to chatbot and ChatGPT and all that, right? The behavioral changes has been changed definitely from those era to this era and all that, and the kind of mobile penetration is happening almost 1.1 billion right now in India. 70% people have smartphones. Probably the India is the top 3 in terms of internet cost. In of the world, right? With almost 48% internet. So obviously, the fact is the behavioral changes have to happen. There is no doubt. But my point is coming to I kind of divide this thing in a little lighter note. I belong to the 90s era. I'm sure people will connect with me. Nipun at least will connect with me. 90s era. We all belong to 90s era. When Nokia was connecting people, right? Much before that, we were well connected at the personal level, behavioral way and all that. We were well connected to that, right? When Nokia started connecting and the whole era of, we have seen the whole era changing in last 20 years or 10, 15 years of changing the delivering the communication, delivering the marketing, marketing communication, sales process, sales funnel, which used to be, and coming to the real estate industry as well. Everything has been changed. And again, there are 2 eras, what I feel. Again, in that particular area, there are 2 eras. One is pre-COVID and then the post-COVID. I belongs to an industry, I belongs to a kind of a company where we actually believes in the BTL or the local marketing or hyper local marketing. The reason is most of the real estate, all of esteemed panelists are from real estate background and all that. All of this real estate and all that. What is their TC? What is that? If somebody is launching in Bangalore, let's say one particular place in Whitefield, will he do marketing to JP Nagar, which is 30 kilometers away from Whitefield? I don't think so. Usually in Whitefield, if somebody is putting, they usually look for within plus 10-kilometer radius of marketing. That is where the comes from the BTL marketing options, where we reach out to the people in near and other. Similarly, I'm sure Rajeeb sir has already spoken about the digital marketing through. I'm sure when they are also targeting through PPC or Google AdWords or SEO and all, they would definitely target with the people wise and all. They will never target somebody who is staying 40 kilometers away from Whitefield and all. So the local marketing is very, very, very important in case of real estate marketing, what I'm trying to say. So the behavioral changes we saw in that particular COVID time, when it was COVID and all that, sudden behavior of digital things and all that, almost 82% people just didn't search, they didn't Google, they didn't negotiate, also started buying through 360 virtual reality market and all. There are many companies came up. In fact, we also started something called virtual expo, right? Exhibition. Property exhibition virtually, putting up all our regular clients on the board over there and promoting to the million of people in Bangalore and other places. People can check out the project, people can see the virtual reality and all that during the COVID time. Even I remember, I want to name the brand if it's not a problem. Puravankara and all also started here. Puravankara is one of the brand in Bangalore. They also started virtual reality for their project. I'm sure many of the real estate over here would have started during the COVID time, virtual reality and all. When there was no option of visiting the site, the only one particular keyword in any real estate or any real estate builder, what they look for, no matter wherever they generate the leads, digital or non-digital, is site visit. Site visit is the heart of any real estate, heart of any real estate. Talk anybody. Rajeeb sir can say that we have generated 100 million leads, but million leads and how many coming to the site visit is one is marketing and one is the sales. End of the day, every builder, every channel partner, what do they want to do? Sales. Just as Ashish sir ne kaha, 200, 300 plus for Brigade. Sales. Everybody wants to do the sales and all that, right? So marketing and sales somehow I feel completely a different aspect of it. Now, again, the behavioral change changing from pre-COVID to post-COVID. Now, again, people coming back to that particular area, what it was in 2019 or 2018. They will search online, they will Google online, they will negotiate probably online. They will talk on the chatbot too with Rajeeb's sales team and all that online. But when it comes to buying, my question to other panel as well, after I finished up, please somebody could answer that. My question is that can they buy? Can they buy online real estate like you buy vegetables, paints, cloths? Nowadays it's not necessary that I need to try my clothes, then I buy my clothes. No, nowadays I don't have to actually go and try my glass and buy my glass. I can do it online as well. I don't need to go to market and buy the vegetables. I can put it in the cart and buy. Do you really think all the esteemed panel in maybe future in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, or 100 years, will there be a time when people can buy home online, like putting it in the cart, like they buy vegetables and all that? They might show an interest to buy one particular site or one particular real estate project and all online. End of the day, still the human touch, the site visit, by going there. If I want to buy a real estate project, before I become a marketer, let me talk to as a consumer or customer and all that. If I want to buy in a house and all that, or Rajeeb sir wants to buy, or Ashish sir wants to buy, or anybody if the panels wants to buy house, I may go and do it at I want a house within 10 kilometers this radius or 5 kilometer radius and all that. Then I compare that with other brands and all that. Then I negotiate, then I shortlist 5, 6 of apartment and all. What do I do next? I go and visit. What do I do next? What is the sales funnel? What is our basic of marketing? What do I do next? Then I take my wife. Next, if my mom is around, then I took my mom. Real estate buying is not just about what you buy, it is all about emotion. Trust me, sir, even today's world, ChatGPT or any AI form or you get it any, still doesn't have emotion. So somehow we all believe or we all have to rely on that particular emotion, what we all have a human emotion.
I think Kartik, I think you bring in a very interesting, before you move into the other point, I think one important thing you brought in was emotion. And always when any kind of purchase happens, it is a mix of emotion and a logic. So I just a question I want to throw up to everybody else, like how important emotion plays a role versus logic, practicality. Is it different? I'm sure it's very different in the case of residential purchase versus a commercial purchase. I'm sure residential is more skewed towards an emotional decision and brand playing, brand connect, and even the messaging and campaigns to be more related to family, which is what we see in the outdoor ads. Well, commercial would be very different. Anybody who wants to comment on that? Like, yeah, Mohit, before I actually was about to move on to you, I just wanted to say that's a beautiful building behind you, a shipbuilding, and my office was once very close to that. And just want to introduce you so people know that you are the next one speaking. You're the head of marketing for DLF, and specifically looking after the office, the business side of things, the office marketing. And and I think not only this, if you can just cover how commercial and residential marketing, they're a different ballgame altogether, right? I think that'd be great.
Thank you, Nipun. Thank you, Sapna, Tripti, and the Vijayadev team for having me here. It's really wonderful to listen to all of you guys. And in fact, I want to start by the thread of the question that was put on to me, to all of us actually. How emotion is important when you look at marketing. And Nipun was talking about how it's going to be different in real estate between research and commercial. I can answer that. Nipun, I am a very firm believer of marketing, which is the human-to-human marketing. I don't agree with B2B or B2C. B2B and B2C are just jargons, as Ashish put in his part in. Every marketing that you do, irrespective of what category you are doing marketing for, is a human-to-human marketing. H2H and not B2C or B2B to start with. Emotion plays a very important role. When you buy residential, you look at yourself and your family. When you buy, and when you look at leasing in commercial spaces, you look at your entire organization. And the people who decide, they may be designations of a CFO, CXO, purchase head, the real estate head, facility head behind them. When they look at leasing decision in commercial also, but at the end of the day, they're still human beings. So yeah, money is important because you're talking about 9-year leases, you're talking about very, very serious business. But emotion is one of the parameters on which you also decide. And that's exactly the difference that we also try to bring to the table. It's not about marketing of buildings. It's not about leasing of buildings. And we're talking about buildings where people come and work. I mean, they spend 12 hours of their day here. They come, they live, they play, they eat, and they go back to their homes happy. And that's why even when you look at marketing communications in the commercial sector, the emotion plays as important a role as it plays in the residential one. In fact, Nipun, I heard you when you when you began the entire session and you talked about why you love real estate and you love window shopping. I mean, that's exactly the difference between residential and commercial. So, and it's a cricketing season, so I'll put a contrast there. So, while a residential marketing may be a 2020 or a one-day match, one-day tournament, I mean, World Cup is just around the corner. Real estate marketing in commercial is like a test match. I mean, you play them session by session. There are 3 sessions in a day. Then there are 4 innings that people play on, 2 innings they bat, 2 innings they ball, and that's how residential commercial marketing is. It's very, very different from the way people do the in and out impact advertising in the residential side. In commercial one, you don't sell, people don't buy, you lease them out, and you start a new relationship. And that's how the difference comes in. You're talking about leases that are 9-year long leases. You're talking about leases where there's an option of renewal every 3 years. And when I look back the last 3 years of pandemic, the respect for marketing in the entire commercial space has really gone notches up by the industry guys, as well as to the tenant partners that I'm talking to. The last 3 years, when people had money, they buy a residential. When they don't have money, they defer it this year. But when we look at organizations who are in the commercial assets, the employees need to come back to work. They need to come back safer. The organization needs to ensure that when the employees come back to work, they're in a safe environment. They are in an environment which is the most productive one, And there may be jargons like hybrid working and then we work from home and all of that, which are all result of pandemic. But what hasn't changed is this entire feeling that when the employee come back to work, there's camaraderie, there is teamwork, and the efficiency and the productivity of employees when they work as cohesively as a team. So we are talking about now in the last 3 years in the commercial space. When we talk about, it's not about what is the value per square feet as the residential guys talk, but we're talking about now experience per square feet in the commercial spaces. That's very important. I mean, the organization that you had, marketing for Salesforce, is one such tool where I look at multiple layers of my communication with the prospective audience or with the current audience also. When you talk about 9-year leases, the marketing doesn't just have to help enable a leasing at the entry of that client into my business. After 3 years, when I have an exit fear, when the organization have a chance of exiting a commercial lease after the 3-year lock-in period, marketing plays a huge role in retention. All the last 3 years of business, when people are not coming to offices, it was digital marketing that enabled organizations to reach out to the consumers, especially wherever they are. So the entire backbone of commercial real estate was about engagement, experience, and marketing played a huge role in it. So residential, maybe as Ashish said, it's a lot of gimmick, a lot of high words and all. I mean, you throw in money, you throw in hype, some leads get generated, you target some of them, you convert them. Rajeeb fantastically talked about how marketing was important from a thing about the clients whom you choose and do business from. For commercial commercial business, marketing was very, very paramount. For the very reason that these consumers were not coming to offices. My organizations had my tenant partners have a doubt when should I get my employees back? When they come back, will there be fear of virus around them? Will there be fear of working them in a safe environment? Marketing did this entire soft cushioning and marketing this entire informative drive, so to say. So when the people are not coming to campuses, we reached out to them. We ensured them that these office buildings inside the indoor air, all of that is clean. Viruses are not there. It's a safe environment for you. So I mean, to the extent that we went into proactive investment on indoor air conditioning and indoor air quality for the very reason that these are the things that matter to people. So whether the virus travel inside an indoor environment or not. So those are things that we invested in proactively. It's not about tenant partner asking for it. And marketing did this role of in translating those info bytes, those important parameters of judging an office space to the tenant employees who are all working from home in that last 3 years period. So again, coming back to your root question about commercial and real estate, residential and commercial advertising, what's the difference? So one residential may be high impact, in and out, you sell and then you move on to the next project. But commercial real estate marketing is all about engagement, retention, playing with the clients. You grow with a few clients, you grow the free accounts, and you retain them. That's not about presence in one campuses. I mean, we are a pan-India player, about 40 million square feet pan-India. So I'm looking at the long-term relationship across cities, and that is why all of this entire marketing automation and tools like Salesforce help us. It's like a test match, Nipun. And
very exciting. Very, very exciting to hear that. And I totally agree with the experience per square feet approach which you have. In the auto industry, in travel industry, it's experience per mile. And we always keep hearing how marketing is the engine behind driving that experience, and how is the custodian, not just driving that experience, but also the custodian of that experience. And we marketers all have a very important role to play with all the data and sophistication and technology, which we can use to deliver very, very targeted and personalized campaigns. So it was exceptionally great hearing you. And I'll move on to my next next topic. And we spoke about the consumer behavior and how nowadays, more and more of our consumers are on social and mobile, and they're really moving a lot, and they're engaging with brands in a very omni-channel way. And now I have two speakers. Both of them are exceptionally experienced. Pradeep Vijayadev, who's digital marketing, head of digital marketing in Brigade. And I would start with him. and then we'll move to Tirthankar Ganguly, who's a CMO in Kalpataru. My question is more around that we have, more and more people now looking at omni-channel ways. They're looking at information online, right from doorknobs to the home itself. And then they're of course doing the site visits. And, three-quarter of the product searches are happening online. And then they keep moving between online, offline. How do you capture these journeys? How do you, and what is the, like, how do you split between, first question is, how do you capture these journeys between digital and non-digital?
Okay. Good afternoon, and it's nice to be, and thanks for having me here. And it's really great to hear all speakers speak in depth about the topics they're interested in and understanding the landscape of digital marketing. Thanks, Nipun. I mean, the question is like capturing the interest of the potential buyers online. I mean, as you rightly mentioned, there are more than 75% real estate buying that is happening is through online at this point in time. Now, if I have to encapsulate my answer into a keyword, like I would say what drives, or I think the best about driving content is about creating the compelling content. I think that's the keyword. If you have to really emphasize and elaborate what is a compelling content which actually engages or captures the interest of the potential buyers online, in a plain simple words, it's a piece of information that is relevant to the audience and which ensures they interact with them, they engage with the source or the generator of the content. I mean, that is where the first initiation of the starts. I mean, if somebody wants to start buying, start in the searching content online, first they do is like look out for the relevancy. Now, this piece of information that is relevant to the audience keeps on evolving as they move through the buyer's cycle. I mean, if you talk about buyers go through a cycle of becoming a suspect, then the prospect, then to a customer. That's the buyer cycle that we talk about. The relevancy keeps on evolving as they navigate through this cycle. For example, if I have to say, let's say the content at the initial stage of a suspect would be probably, he'll be at an information gathering stage, right? He'll be looking at understanding the specific micro markets within the city, or it might be the industry trends, the rental yields, or it might be about the home loan interest rates. So these are the content which will be very relevant to him at the very early stage of his home buying process. As they actually move, as they move up the buying cycle, what they do is like they move into a confirmative stage from a information gathering stage. I mean, that's where the relevancy shifts from a specific content like, probably the number of builders who are available in that particular micro market, and what are the reputation of the builder, the definition of the construction quality, the delivery track record, and also the quality of communities they want to be associated with. And then they reach the final stage in terms of the validation content, where they go for the user generated content in terms of your customer reviews, probably the expert reviews, and also having the price comparisons. I think this is the stages where the whole shift of a customer journey pans out when they start searching online. And now the big question, or $1 million question that comes to it is like, how do we engage when customers searching online for different causes and having those buyers journey cycle online? How do we actually get them to our digital ecosystem? I mean, that's what the question is, right? I mean, there are more than million searches which happens who are searching for home in a specific micro markets. How do we make them relevant to our brand and get them to our digital ecosystem? It might be, I would say the best way I divide it into two aspects of it. One, what I call it as a digital vehicles, where we actually, how we curate or create content in about reaching out to this relevant audience who are there online. It might be through your blog posts, it might be through your videos, creating infographics, podcasts, social media influencers, editorials, or it might be about the online ads as well. Now, the second aspect of is like, how are you going to take this digital vehicles and how are you going to drive this content to a relevant platforms? It might be through your website, it might be your social media channels, or it might be through the aggregators, affiliates channels that are available, or even the company-owned communication channels. So by this, you're able to drive and engage those audience who are there at the web and bring them back to your digital ecosystem. I think that is what the key is. Now, if I have to remember, it's all about being consistent and being adaptive about being with the market trends, and being relevant to your audience makes them more engaging with you. I think that is what is very crucial for success in terms of making sure they are relevant and they're there with you and capturing their intent. I think that's one part of it. And second, you also asked about what is the split between digital and the non-digital marketing. truly in today's age and time, I think the lines are blurred between digital and non-digital, right? I mean, people are actually moved towards an omni-channel experience where companies or organizations are talking about creating that inclusive experience. I mean, they're talking about the lifetime value of a customer, where we talk about more of a customer touch points rather than defining about the channels. What we say, even what we call it as an attributions. I mean, instead of looking at a clear demarcation between a digital, non-digital, or a referrer or a channel partner, we see how we can actually become an integrated ecosystem, measure the touch points and enhance the customer experience is what we're looking at. I think that's what actually create the lifetime value for a customer within the organization. I mean, if I have to, put a point or put a number to it at this point in time, digital or non-digital, purely in a number per se, I would give it around 50-50, Nipun.
Thanks again. I think again, really good inputs, and thanks for sharing. How you are doing targeting micro markets and crafting journeys which are building across the sales, the customer journey, and around awareness, consideration, purchase. I think all great inputs. And I would also like to invite Tirthankar to tell us, what does he feel about these digital journeys, and basically, technology is now playing more and more important role in automating these journeys, so that one doesn't have to be sitting and pushing out, these journeys, tracking it very closely. All is now done in a very sophisticated manner. So, what is Tirthankar, your inputs on the same topic?
Yeah, hi Nipun, can you hear me? Okay, fantastic, great. So Nipun, before I jump into answering the specific point related to customer journey and automation that you asked about, I just wanted to take 30 seconds to go back to where we started. Can't resist the clickbait which was thrown by Ashish. So anyway, Joe. The reason why there is a high level of, I would say the highest level of involvement which the customer has in buying this product, irrespective of whether you buy it at 50 lakhs or you buy at say 4 crores in Delhi NCR, which I'm sure is a very expensive product there, which is like a starting price in Bombay, or you buy say a 50 or I do a 200 crore or 250 crore deal with a single buyer for 4 or 5 apartments in Bombay. This is the most expensive check you will ever write in your life. So no category comes close to it. So even if you think of any other category of product which the same customer buys, so if I look at somebody who stays maybe in a 20 crore house, drives a Merc E-Class, what, 75 lakhs? No comparison, right? So and that's the maximum volume of product that is sold in a category like say automobile. So in real estate, I think that is the reason why we see a lot of people who deal with FMCG, who deal with so-called distribution-led products, are not being able to appreciate what happens on this side of the border as far as real estate is concerned. That's the reason why there is a huge amount of and then the purchase cycle. So it's such a long gestation period of buying, and then even after buying, the consumption starts after 5-6 years. So the level of engagement that you need to connect with and need to deliver with this client, as much as it provides you the opportunity, it also creates that much moments of dissonance, so as marketeers, you are not only concerned about the search, the purchase, and then even a large amount of post-purchase and before the actual consumption starts for you to even get a feedback into what you did. So that makes this category so unique, and so that's why the category codes are very, very different. And this category actually draws a lot from a large amount of from other categories, like say buying say high-end art, or experiencing a really rare bottle of Louis XIII's, or say a rare single malt. So if you were to think of it, that's one thing. The other thing is to look at is that when you spoke about the emotion part of it, it is aspirational for everybody. The guy who is buying at 50 lakhs, it is aspirational for him. And the guy who is buying a 50 crore apartment is also aspirational because he can't afford to buy a 200 crore apartment. So that is why, so there is no difference whether, oh, aspirational means the product is only entry level. No, there is aspiration across. So that is why a large amount of communication which happens in this particular domain borders on that aspiration, because I don't sell you a brick and mortar home. What I am selling to you is what your life is going to be once you start using this home. And the home is something which you use 365 days of the year. You may not drive the same car. You may have 3 or 4 cars if you are living in a, say, premium apartment, but you stay in the same home, right? So that is the level of involvement which a customer end of the day has, which also drives the course of this category. Now, coming to the digital part of it. See, the thing when creating the digital journey is, it goes back to the seamless. So these are the keywords, right? Seamless. I cannot force him to come to a platform which he is not used to. I have to go where he is. So that's where the choice of platform gets decided. And then a personalized experience. And today that personalization can, sorry, I think somebody's.
Everybody
okay.
could,
Yeah. So today personalization of experience is the key. And that as you go up the value chain, right from your entry level product to the top end luxury, that is what the customer is looking for. Does this company really know me? Or does he think I am like 20 or 200 or 2,000 or 20,000 or 20 lakh other people in that segmentation that the brand manager has created and trying to straitjacket me into that? He's not accepting that anymore. That's why he's blocking out a large amount of mass communication, right? I'm not interested. You don't know me, right? So I need to guide him right from discovery to purchase, right? So first thing is that you need to ensure that the potential buyers can easily find your products and services, right? So this is what we achieve typically, like all of us do, right? Using various channels, like where your SEO comes in, your paid advertising comes in, your content marketing comes in, your social media, influencer marketing. Content is very important in real estate, and that is why a huge amount of investment in creating digital twins today is very important, because the product doesn't travel. If you want to buy Nipun, you want to buy the new, say, E-Class 2023 model, Mercedes can bring the car to your premises and you can do a test drive. I can't bring my apartment to your premises. That's why we put such huge, I would say, premium on site visits, right? Today, a Mercedes doesn't want you to come to the showroom that much. You can buy the car digitally. But I can't do that because that my product really, that's why there is so much investments are going into creating good quality digital assets, which can mimic and be called a digital twin. And technology today is very democratic. You don't need enterprise level, I would say, bandwidth to be able to do that. Even a startup can create that, because that is how tools today are available, right? Then you come to your awareness and consideration, right? Once potential buyers discover the offering, the idea is to provide them with valuable information which will build awareness and encourage consideration. We do it through many ways, like blog posts, videos. So videos are very important because our product is very visual. So that I would say, to give you a parallel, because you said you are not from the industry, when you want to book the next holiday, say in Seychelles or in Maldives, it is the visual that appeals to you, right? Which tells you which resort you'd want to spend those few days in as against somebody else. So same goes for our category. Our product is very, very visual. So that's why visual assets becomes very important, right? Then customer testimonies, right? Who do I believe, right? Somebody who's put his money on the table is far more believable than anybody else who can be a so-called influencer, even a channel partner, right? He has vested interest. What if the company is giving him a higher commission ladder? That's why he's trying to drive the product there. Right? So you don't know that, right? And then, of course, the final is your evaluation and decision. So this is where facilitating that evaluation process by providing relevant product information, specification, comparison, review, which is a shopping tool, right? So which is what all other categories would do. If you are looking at, say, buying OLED TVs, you are looking at comparing, right? This is where a lot of those evaluation tools comes handy. And then finally, the purchase happens. Idea is to simplify the purchase process to minimize friction. I don't want you to go a turnaround, and I want you to be on where you are and to do that. And then the post-purchase engagement, because the consumption is going to happen after, say, 4 or 5 years, unless it's ready to move in. If it's an off plan, that is the amount of time that you take, right? Now, what we have realized is a lot of this used to be also called offline, using at the most maybe a call or an email at best in the past. Today, this entire journey can be automated and must be automated. Otherwise, you'll keep going back to justify to your CFO what happened to those 1 lakh leads and not being able to ascribe, which today is the easiest thing to do. That ascribing is the easiest thing to do in terms of right from the opportunity creation to the final purchase. How did the customer journey go through? And the tools allow us to do that today, right? So if I look at the automation part of it, discovery, of course, we implement a lot of analytic tools to track our website traffic, our user behavior, then conversions, and enabling data-driven decision-making for the entire team, right? Then a good CRM platform, which helps to automate my lead management and segmentation for targeted marketing. And I'm sure you would know we use the right platforms, and we use a lot of products from your organization, and rightfully so, because they have been proven to be, I would say, enterprise grade, effective, and reliable products, right? Then in terms of your awareness and consideration, that's where today a huge emphasis goes to maintaining first party data. It's good that we have been forced to do this with this imminent threat of cookies going away. Because if you don't know about somebody who is your customer, how do you expect that you're going to know about that so-called that imaginary entity out there in the open who's going to give you that business? So that is where implementing a good quality customer data platform becomes that much more important, because you need to consolidate first party data coming from so many sources. Even in low volume transaction industry like real estate, today the data comes from multiple sources. And that is where to consolidate that customer data from various sources to create a unified customer profile for giving personalized experiences become that much more important, right? Then in your evaluation and decision-making process, huge amount of today AI tools are available. And that's where that is personalization. So I can give you an idea, right? Today we have charted out around 8 to 10 nudge points from the time that you drop a lead. Say, suppose, Nipun, you come to Kalpataru website to drop a lead, to the time that you actually decide to purchase, where I can create personalized communication, which is addressed to Nipun Sharma only and not to anybody else who is, and through audiovisual means, who will guide you through this process and nudge you using emotions and everything possible to take the next step, move to the next step, so that I can reduce the cart dropouts as much as possible, And then, of course, in the final process, the entire how the CRM marketing automation happens to the notifications and make it as seamless, Like that's where something like, say, a WhatsApp for business integration becomes so important, because we do business today on WhatsApp. If I send somebody an email, I send a WhatsApp to remind him that I've sent the email, because that's where the person is there 24/7 and not so much on the email anymore. So why don't I do business with him on WhatsApp, right? And then the entire post-purchase part of it, which is where your loyalty, referrals, rewards, and all of that comes in. So that's how the entire journey you can automate today and fully personalize. So the customer is I'm almost mimicking somebody he will trust, So why do you think people are completely blocking out ads and paying premium to block out ads? Because I don't want to listen to somebody, but the only person I'm not blocking out is actually friends and family. I'm okay to listen to a friend for advice. I'm okay to listen to a family for advice. So the same role comes in here. And that's how critical it has become. And even what we have seen, for our other channels to perform, if I block out this one, which is always the constant debate between me and the CFO, that when he doesn't understand what the money is getting spent on, and the CPs are doing this, CPs are doing that. So my usual retort is, okay, next month I will stop my direct spends and let the CP get the business. It doesn't happen, because the CP needs the customer needs an official validation to trust the intermediary. And it has happened in other industries also. Hospitality is a great example, where from travel agents to Expedias and Agodas of the world, they couldn't survive on their own because unless there is an official validation from the brand. And that's the power of the brand.com. So that's what we always look at. And that's how you can look at a real omnichannel experience for the customer.
Perfect. I mean, thank you so much. I think you explained the art and science of building a campaign, what goes in the mind of the customer, in the mind of the brand marketer. I think very nicely summarized. It seems like you've been implementing a lot in your work. I just want to summarize a couple of things. Again, a confession just to end this conversation. I had, can everybody go on mute? So I think there's a lot of background noise. Yeah, thanks. So I think another confession is that I spoke to Ashish Kaul before we started off, and he has many campaigns under his belt, and he fired up the conversation. He got the discussion going by saying some provocative stuff, which is about marketing being a tukka, and it's a volume game, and it's attributed to channel partners. And thank you. I want to thank him for challenging us and to be able to counter him and be able to show such amazing thought behind how you do marketing. I love that Rajeeb Dash, you spoke about the customer 360 view. I think this is the center of how one should do marketing. Unless you really know the customer, there is no way one can service the customer and to be able to give the right offering. I think we have to be on the customer side, and it's really, really important that, I mean, I really like the way you explain the whole 360 view of the customer. I liked Kartik, Sahoo mentioned about, how multiple stakeholders need to be convinced. So much goes into attracting the customer, and how site visits are so important as a measure of success if your marketing and sales is working or not. Mohit, Mishra, again, I really like the way you said it's not really about price per square feet, but experience per square feet. And the human-to-human marketing is so much important. And it's definitely more, human-to-human marketing is how I think most of the current age of marketers are going towards, and not really segmenting as B2B and B2C. And also explaining us the difference between commercial and residential, and which is a test match, and the other is a one-day affair. And that's again great insights. I just want to summarize what Pradeep mentioned. Pradeep mentioned about the micro marketing and how journeys can be built across awareness, consideration, and purchase. How he's doing retargeting in his company and making sure that the messaging is relevant to the audience and that he's able to capture interest. I think that's again great. And to end, I think Tirthankar opened a huge, huge creative, let the creative juices flow, and he was able to tell us about how it's such an important purchase. It's an aspirational purchase, so campaigns need to be designed like that. And the purchase, how one needs to engage the customer through purchase cycle and even post-purchase. And I think these are all great discussions, and I want to wrap it up. And thanks everybody for contributing so much and sharing so much.
Nipun, if you can just add one point.
Nipun, can I just make a closing remark?
Learning from the e-commerce will be.
Sorry, there is a lot of background noise.
So Nipun, I was saying that in a digital space.
There's a lot of background noise. Can everybody go on mute first? Is Rajeeb?
Yeah, can you hear me, Nipun?
Yeah.
But I was saying that in a digital, I'll just take a few seconds. In a digital space, the learning that we can take from e-commerce is that if we can give a different offering or a different pricing, that really helps. One of the experiments we did in a couple of projects, instead of giving the upper floor in the offline market, we gave the upper floors kept only for digital media.
Nice.
And also similar thing that you can play around with the payment plans. So when you make digital spatial, you make your internal buying process different from the offline journey and give a special offer and give a special payment plan. I think it works. In the way that you treat digital space. I think
Right.
that is something that can be tested, and I have seen some of the projects doing very well. Can you differentiate, or you open a different project tower only digital? It's
Got it.
something like, other e-commerce or Mintra, all those, they do that. They launch a specific product only digital or online.
Right.
That's something that is, you can do it, and you see the difference in terms of how the response been, and that is
Got
very
it.
critical for real estate,
Got it.
treating digital differently.
Thanks for sharing that. And I will give it to Ashish, who wants to close the session. Ashish, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nipun. I mean, it's been really enriching hearing all of us. There was one part that I consciously missed out, which was, what technology can do and the methodologies and the tools and all of that. I think it's like going back to school. We all, I think a panel as matured as this, I think everybody knows all of this. The biggest gray, what do I see? The delta that I see, the delta that I'm not interested in what, the catchment and all of that. I think we all know that. That's not the point here. The point is that I want to leave and everybody to think that aren't we, and I've heard everybody, aren't we enforcing, basically we are doing sales and calling it marketing. I think that is where my concern is. We are creation of business. For example, what comes to my mind is when DLF did the King's Court. I mean, those days it was unheard of. People thought it could not be done when DLF did King's Court, the Camellias of the world. So we are not. We are basically finding tools to sell more, and there is technology that does that for us, and fantastic use of technology that is allowing all of that. But my concern still remains, aren't we doing sales and calling it marketing? We are not doing business creation. We are not creating anything and selling it. We are not creating a proposition and taking it to the market, which is the fundamental of marketing. We are not creating businesses. We are not creating those propositions and taking them to the market. We are first creating a proposition, and then it should be a broader discussion. Of course, technology and what all technology can do. I mean, it's all right. I mean, we all know that. So that was my gray area. Somewhere down the line, I think the seniors need to address this. That goes back to the drawing board. That do we create a business or do we use this as a tool to sell what we have created?
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. I'll give it back to Sapna or somebody else to just close this.
Yes, Nipun, it was I think, fantastic conversation. Very different viewpoints we got from all our speakers, and you very well summarized, what everyone had to say. One question, Ashish, has come to you. You've been talking about that marketing, properly in real estate. We are not looking at marketing from the right angle. So the question that comes specifically for you is, what, according to you, defines real estate marketing? Maybe top 3 points, if you can, share what.
It will be, unfortunately, it'll be a broader, but I'll give you an example. It may not be relevant, but what I'm trying to say is something that marketing is to create a business proposition. It is not to sell. I mean, that is the part of the sales job. I mean, and whatever you do to help something जो आपने create कर दिया, अब आप उसको retrofit करके कैसे best, or technology gives you fantastic opportunities today. I mean, but I was telling you about King's Court. I know for a fact that people thought it is a blunder. It could not be done. When King's Court was sold, it is a benchmark. It created a whole new benchmark in that real estate. When Camellias were done, people thought, are you guys crazy? You're selling a bare bone? It can't be done. It's a benchmark today. But we are not doing that. Apart from, my whole life has gone in creating business propositions, in solving business propositions. When I launched Dish TV, it was India's first DTH platform. I was told that, have you gone mad? In a market where people don't even spend 50 rupees, how do you sell an entry-level product at 4,000, almost at 5,000 rupees? That was not a sales strategy. That was the way business was moving from wired environment to a wire-free environment. So the question that My promoter, Subhash Chandra, threw at me was, Ashish, how do you bridge this gap? I know business is moving from wire to wireless. Are we ready? We don't have a business there. That is how Dish TV was born.
The
In the
crux of
2020 format
marketing,
that I introduced in this part of the world.
so the crux of the marketing that you are saying is to
You know,
create
that had to be
business
that way.
proposition, to create something unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We are not doing that. You know, we are
Okay.
still, as I was saying, we are still doing sales and calling it marketing.
Okay.
We all know that that's like going back to the school. I mean, we all know what technology can do and the catchment and the data and all of that and the formats. Everybody does.
Okay. So that's from our speaker Ashish Kaul. I think it answers your question.
The same thing. There is no magic in that. The magic, take the liberty of calling myself as somebody who graduated enough that we are not creating anything new. I mean, last I can think of is DLF created King's Court and Camellia. I don't know anything that has been created. We are just selling whatever inventory is there.
Nipun, this question comes for you.
Discount sales to do.
Yeah, Nipun, this question comes for you. It is about, they are saying that till now, Google and FB have been the biggest winners of digitization of marketing. Do you see any other interesting players coming up, emerging for real estate?
See, there is, the marketing has itself evolved a lot. There are now smaller players, big players. While I work for a very big company, there are currently the marketing is not only a play for the big companies. Currently, everybody has an access to data. Everybody has access to AI. Everybody has access to agile development. So smaller companies also have a big role to play. They are able to service customers, and there are a lot of companies. I can't name them, but they're sprouting and doing some innovative work. I think there is always this, when we go as Salesforce to a company, we just, there are some companies who prefer to work with big companies because the big companies bring in a lot of stability. They know that they're there to last. I mean, if when they tie up with a big company, they know they'll get the support, and in the sense that they'll not just shut shop in few days. But in smaller companies are more agile. They give more importance sometimes because they have just one or two, like less number of customers. So of course, there is a level playing field now. It's a level playing field. There's a lot of innovation going around for marketing across, not just realty, but in other sectors as well.
Okay, so not just big players, but also there are many smaller firms which are there for all kinds of clients. One question I think, Nipun, we can ask everyone, what according to you is the top trend that you would like to place a bet on 2023? In 2023, Nipun, let's start from you. What is the top marketing trend that you will bet on in 2023?
I think AI plus data is going to be really, really important. And I already see some of our participants here using both of them. And I think that's going to be a key differentiator because it changes the way we work and the way our productivity, our automation, and it's just game changing right now.
Right. Mr. Tirthankar, what according to you would be the trend that you'll place your finger on?
I think it's personalization. What tools I use to create personalization for my customer? Because for me, the role of marketing is to create desire. That is what we do. It's not about creating business categories. Yes, it happens, but they don't happen as in every category of the product. Okay. So the role of marketing is to create desire, go back to understanding the consumer insight, and then create products which will satisfy that. And if I can do it for you, Sapna, and not for many Sapnas, it will appeal to you that much more, and you will be satisfied to that much level. So that to me, personalization becomes that much more important, which will help me save my marketing dollars and give a better ROI to my CFO.
Pradeep, what do you have to say? Personalization, AI and data, and now what?
For me, Sharma, it'd be a first-party data and actually automation. I think those are the two things which I really want to bet on. Getting a unified view of the customer is very, very important. I mean, having an omni-channel experience with multiple touch points, having that single view of a customer makes, I mean, as Tirthankar rightly pointed out, I mean, save our marketing budgets as well.
Automation and first-party
yes,
data.
first-party.
Rajeeb, what is the trend that you will say you will bet on in 2020?
Yeah, Sapna, I think it's more about the content storytelling. I think real estate is been talking about talking the product rationality, pricing, location, everything that we talked about. But somewhere we have to get into that FMCG way of marketing, the storytelling part.
Touch the
And
emotion.
yes, that's the emotion part, and give that experience to the customer through storytelling. And that is missing today to a larger extent. I think that is one
Storytelling,
critical
according
thing.
to Rajeeb. Kartik, what would you say?
My personal opinion, probably if you would done, Raju sir, if you could mute it. There's a lot of background noise. So my personal opinion, as a consumer point of view, customer point of view, in terms of real estate buying or selling, I feel, that's very boring. Real estate marketing, as from the customer point of view, consumer point of view, is very boring. There are only three questions need to be answered. No matter whatever you do in real estate marketing or sales or AI or whatever formula or any kind of digital things you do, customer at the end consumer looks for three answers: where it is, when is the position, how much it is.
Right.
So three questions if you answer, then real estate marketing, the basic of the real estate marketing is these three questions. What I do.
Okay, sir.
कहाँ है, कब हो रहा है, कितना लगेगा. It's very simple. If it is a burger, sari or something, you can get into the details. You can get to this thread, that color, these things, or whatever. There are customization and there are a lot of things. But I feel somehow the customization also will be trouble in the terms of real estate. But in this particular segment, you cannot do customization one house for me, Kartik, and another for my wife or something else and all. There are four people who can customize. But there are only three questions to be answered: when, where it is happening, and how much it costs. Now coming to the point, what is the trend? Probably I feel
Thanks, Kartik. Thanks, Kartik. Ashish, your last words.
My answer for that particular things, which again I come back to my talk, which was site visit and all that. I think if there would be time after 5 or 10 years or 20 years down the line and all that, if something could have happened like 360-degree virtual tour or something, if I'm very busy and obviously the workloads is going to be increased the way India is moving and all that, I will really not have time to do the site visit. If I can actually have a virtual tour by sitting anywhere and all that with a proper VR or something,
okay,
so that's going to be the next future.
Yes. Correct. I completely agree with you, Ashish. What would be the trend that you would say, you would like to, bet on in 2023? You are on mute, Ashish. You're on mute, Ashish.
Yeah. So I think intelligence, market segmentation is something that hasn't been done. We don't do that. As I said, the gray area still is that we first create and then we find methodologies of the best fitment to sell that. I think we will move slowly into understanding of how this market broadly needs to be classified as. Are we, as a business model, are we looking at investor-driven business model? Are we looking at first home buyer business model? Are we looking at a combination of this? So what is our business model? Where do we see those that 5x growth coming in from? So do we create a business model which is investor driven? I am sure that I will also be one of the guys who will offer a product where you don't have to come to metaverse will be the big defining, but that's for an investor, somebody who want to live in that flat. The strategies will have to be different. Then even the land parcel, for example, how do we even identify a land parcel? Those the business, the marketing has to work at that level. That are we really matured enough to figure out a land parcel that this is where the next generation of home users will live in? For example, do I really have to sell a flat or an experience? So all of this, I think, first of all, we have to go back to the drawing board. Instead of doing first home buyer, second home buyer, or affordable people who are moving from slums into gated communities, or it is always one of the movies that I recently created, I was told that it's gonna bomb 10 minutes.
So I think very varied comments that we have got from
will freak out more than 20 rural living.
Ashish,
so those are the debates.
Ashish is saying going back to the drawing board, identifying the business model. Nipun saying that AI and data is going to be the new trend that we are going to see. and from customization and experience, personalized
All of that
experience
will help you do better in
to probably also content, storytelling is something that we are going to see in 2023 in the real estate marketing. But this was our first session of the day on digital marketing, but another very exciting session is coming up right now, which is a conversation on the topic of lead generation, which will discuss the new models of identifying potential customers and trends. So before I introduce the speakers of the session, let me thank all our speakers of this session, Kartik, Ashish, Pradeep, Rajeeb, Tirthankar, Nipun for that wonderful moderation, and Mohit for joining us here for this session for the Realty Plus Idea Conclave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sapna. Thank you. Thank you, Nipun. Thank you.